when we talk about rights-based approach, it's not just about the rhetoric about the rights. It's about substantive human rights in its operation. This means enjoying the rights, and enjoyment of the rights means food to those who do not have food, education to those who do not have access to education, care to those who do not have HIV care. But at the same time, we go beyond enabling to empowering. This means people do have the information, people who do have the capacity, people can mobilize and organize in a way they can sustain this. So in a nutshell, rights-based approach is about what I call making sustainable impact in communities, in the lives of people as well as in countries. We are working and we are raising money to ensure there is a lasting solution to the issues of poverty and deprivation. As we think people are poor because they are at the receiving end of unequal and unjust power relationships. People are poor because they are at the receiving end of patriarchy. People are poor because the rights are denied to them historically, either in the name of gender, either in the name of caste, or in the name of race, or in the name of location. So hence, we need to address the immediate consequences. That means immediate consequences, people are simply hungry. When they are hungry, the most important thing is to ensure they get the food, not to give a speech on human rights. But just ensuring they get one-time meal or a one-month meal do not ensure a lasting solution. That means we have to ensure that they have a system where the governments do meet their obligatory responsibility to realize their human rights to food. That means human rights to food means there is enough allocation, there is enough program, there is enough sort of guarantee from the parts of government. So we seek to work at the grassroots level with the community. We would work with social movements and others who are mobilizing for change. At the same time, we will work with the government to persuade them, influence public policies in a way that will have lasting solutions to issues of poverty. And so the key question when somebody is giving £1 to ActionAid is whether you can use that £1 to get food for one child for one time, or whether you can use that £1 to ensure that 1,000 children get food. So this is where the key stuff is. When we raise £10,000, you can use £10,000 to give food for a whole community for a whole month. Or we can use out of that £10,000, £8,000, £5,000 to ensure that people do get food, and the rest of the money could be used to make sure that people do get food more than a month, more than a year, more than 2 years. Because if we, that £2,000 using to influence public policies means making a big difference. Let me give an example. In India, ActionAid has been working for 35 years. And ActionAid's entire budget to the national global budget just cannot address the issues of poverty. It's like a drop in the ocean. In a country of more than 300 million poor, ActionAid's money for the entire country budget or the entire ActionAid money cannot buy food for 350 million people. But what it can do is demonstrate in communities what the best way in which people can get access to food by developing models in our DA, by helping to have sustainable agriculture, by helping to have women's cooperative where women can increase their income, access to income, which will get access to food. But at the same time, ActionAid India has done a very, very interesting work of mobilizing people and to go to the Supreme Court to ensure that the right to food is a fundamental right. And by doing that, ActionAid spent a very minuscule amount of money, less than 10% or 15% of total income, for an advocacy campaign which helped the Supreme Court of India passing a judgment that all the children in the schools should get midday meal. This means the midday meal program would have cost ActionAid the entire budget of ActionAid in the 35 years. Even still, we're not be able to do it. But by spending that few £1,000s, we have ensured that millions of children in different parts of the country will get midday meal, not for one day, not for 1 month, not for 1 year, for the whole period of time. So we change the public policy with a maximum impact. So rights-based approach also means maximizing the impact of ActionAid. It means scaling up our outreach. It's not just by feeding 100 people, you are not going to make big change. So by feeding 100 people is good, but that's not good enough. We are not saying that we should not feed, we should feed. You know, starting 10 schools is good, but that's not good enough. Starting 10 cooperatives for women in 10 years are good, but that's not good enough. So for us, services are the beginning of a bigger process. Services are a means, not an end in itself. It's a means to enable and empower people so that people can claim and people can speak for themselves. And ActionAid's role is enabling, empowering and educating people so that they can speak for themselves and they can claim their rights.